Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Hope we're having a fantastic Sunday. It's a beautiful sunny day. Lots of holiday sales still ripping. It's been a beautiful thing to see. Should still be a good amount of opportunity waiting out there for you guys if you want to get after it. Do a little bit of sourcing today. Be hanging out here for probably 30 minutes or so, answering some questions. Yeah, just hanging out, see what's up. If you're watching on the replay and you need a good starter guide, you can go check out down below. We got the Amazon Launchpad. It's a bunch of videos, free Discord, all that kind of stuff, some downloadables. But basically a ton of free stuff for you to get started on Amazon. So, yeah, let me know what you guys are running into on Amazon. Answering some questions here for a little bit, and yeah, should be a good time. Did everybody have a good 4th of July? I haven't streamed in a few days here. Been hanging out with family, all that kind of stuff. Kept all the sourcing fingers from blowing up. Right, that's the that's the goal on the 4th. What's up, Golden? How's it going, man? But yeah. Hope y'all had some good time with family, all that good stuff. Certainly now there's still a lot of good money making opportunity off the holiday, and then we've also got Prime Day sales coming up. Every year those get better and better. Like pretty much every website tries to compete with Prime Day going on, which is July 16th and 17th. So should start seeing those sales here before too long. There's going to be a lot of very arbitrageable opportunities going on. So yeah, let's get after it, folks. Lots of good stuff on the way. What up, Sadiq? How's it going, man? Let's get rich is right. Joining from work. You're working on a Sunday. I respect it. Let's get you out of that job where you got to work on Sunday at the very least. Where can you find the Discord server? Yeah. So if you want a free resource, here you go. I'll drop it in the YouTube chat there for you. Free Discord, some videos, downloadable guides, all that kind of stuff. What would be the best way to start out with $1,000, or I guess £1,000 in your case? Yeah. If you only have $1,000, like what I did is I hit like used stuff first, right? Basically, so I was going to like thrift stores and yard sales and wherever you can get your hands on like used books, old electronics, video games, that type of stuff. It's going to be really high ROI. It takes the most time to make money on that, but it's the highest ROI, right? So it's the stuff that people who have a lot of money aren't willing to do. It just doesn't make sense. But for you, it makes total sense because you can spend your $1,000 over the course of a couple weeks, spend it all on 300, 400, 500% ROI or more stuff, and a couple months later you got you turn that 1 into 5 or 10. That's exactly what I did. I did that for way too long though, so don't get stuck in that for too long. Got comfortable with books, sold, started with like 1,500, made 30 grand profit selling books before I did anything else, which was great, but limited growth. Could have been buying stuff sooner, basically. Gone through hundreds of applications for VA and no good VA lasts you. I mean, there's probably some good VAs in there, man. It's also down to how you're training them. Your VAs are only as good as you are unless you get super lucky and find somebody who like just quit or for whatever reason didn't want to work for that old employer. You gotta kind of teach them what's up, basically, right? So show them your favorite ways to source, show them your best website, show them exactly how you source that website. Because with VAs, a lot of people, they'll hire a VA and they'll have the VA source stuff that they have never looked at before. Y'all are firing now. I love it. They'll have them look at like random stuff. It's like, hey VA, check out whatever, right? But if you're no one's gonna be as good as you at like exploring new opportunity, right? So you tell them to do what you're really good at, and then you get to go figure new stuff out, do it all over again, right? All right, I figured out a couple days, a good amount of new websites, figured out how to source these places. Let me hire somebody else who can look at these places for me, right? Sweet. Yeah, y'all are firing. Hope you guys are all had a good 4th and everything like that. Which would be fine if you started with 250. Yeah, start with whatever you got, man. If you have like a couple $100, then I mean, Amazon is a spend money to make money business, especially doing like name brand stuff. You can definitely get started. Like somebody else asking like 1,500. Yeah, y'all can start with that. You can start with whatever you have. Just don't expect to do $100,000 in a month if you have $1,000, right? Just manage your expectations a little bit. Set realistic goals, all that kind of stuff. Basically, for every $1 that you spend on name brand stuff, you'll probably sell about $2 in revenue on that. And when you're doing used products, it's probably a little closer to like 1 to 3 or 1 to 4. In terms of $1 spent turns into 3 in revenue or 4 in revenue. So that's just kind of why I like to, for those of you guys who don't have a ton of money, dive into that stuff. Yeah, and then Greg, you're asking what to do once they once you got to 30K selling all the like the cheap stuff, that's where you start to dive in with name brand products, right? So like the stuff I dive into on the channel, just like sourcing name brand stuff, looking at big websites, doing a little bit of wholesale here and there. If after you get the experience in arbitrage, all that kind of stuff, right? Once you got money to play around with, you can afford to drop 500 on this product, 2,000 on this product, and so on, right? Best way to get ungated, just buy like 10 units of a product from wherever you found it profitably and submit that to Amazon. Just make sure whatever your brand you're trying to sell is accepting applications before you dive in. Are you drop shipping or wholesaling? I'm doing neither. Drop shipping is against TOS, so don't drop ship unless you're doing like in a very specific way that almost no one is. You have to be drop shipping like from a wholesale supplier who knows what you're doing and all that kind of stuff, right? I do very little wholesale. It's mostly just buying from big websites. Buying from Nike, Adidas, Puma, buying from Vitacost, IHERB, Walgreens, CVS, all those sites, right? We did about 300,000. We did 297,000 last month. That's obviously revenue, but yeah, a lot of people don't think you can scale that type of stuff, but you definitely can. Don't train them, but that would be the better route. Your buddies who don't train eventually hire some great VAs. I mean, you can hire someone who knows a little bit about Amazon already, but if you don't train them at all, like they're not going to know how, like they're not going to know the best type of thing, right? Yeah, they're just not going to know how you like to source, what products you like. Like they're not learning like your best sourcing methods. And if you don't have any like secret sauce yet, you probably don't need a VA. Check to see which brands have registered for brand registry. Probably that hasn't really mattered for me, Carmen. A good thing to check, like if you guys are trying to figure out like which brands are like you're actually allowed to sell and stuff. You can check here. Let me pull up a good resource for you here. Generally, like it doesn't really matter which are brand registered, unless the brand themselves selling it. That's kind of a dead giveaway. You'll see that with a lot of like private label type products. So let me see. Okay, cool. Let me screen share this with you guys here. Present. Let's go right here. Okay, cool. So if you're trying to figure out like what brands to sell, right? So like this Wolf store, you're talking about like the brand registry, that type of stuff. They almost definitely have, they're almost definitely brand registered here. And you can see that the brand themselves also sell that product, right? So you probably don't want to sell that. Another good resource, so like if we check like a very classic, IP complaining brand or something like that, we're probably going to get. I'm not logged in on here. You can check like the SellerAmp on the side, right? It'll say like that IP thing, or you can check over here. If that brand is known for IP complaining, right? So this is a free website, Seller Journal Greenlight. So I don't know if Wolf is on there, but something like Kong, which is very notoriously like an IP complaining brand. You can see that there's a nice little warning here, right? So you can just check a couple things there. Also a good idea just to check and see if there is like a bunch of drop off on the seller count of those items. If as long as you check those two things, you'll be safe. What's wrong with drop shipping? It is against TOS. At least if you buy like, somebody was leaving a comment like that they listed a product that was selling at Walmart and they shipped it straight from Walmart to the customer and wondered why they got banned. Which obviously that's not what Amazon is about. So that's against TOS, if that's what you're doing. And that's what most people are talking about when they're talking about drop shipping and stuff. Do you have videos how to start FBM and FBM way different? It's pretty much the same process, Omar, as far as like sourcing and stuff goes. I do have like an FBM guide. I can see if I can find that real quick for you. But it's basically the same process in terms of sourcing products. The only thing you want to look out for is that the buy box actually rotates to FBM sellers. So you can check that on like Keepa or SellerAmp. I can see if I can get a quick example up here on the other monitor over here. Let me see. But the sourcing process is mostly the same. You just have to make sure that it actually rotates. Beyond that, like you're just basically shipping it direct to the customer instead of kind of doing it all, shipping it all to Amazon, that kind of thing. So I'm trying to do two things at once so I can show you guys this demo here. Cool. Yeah, this is a good example. Let's dive in on this. All right, so let me go there. Broke first 100 in sales. Watching you and Miles. What? That's what's up, Omar. That's what's up. Yeah. So you're asking good questions on like FPMing and stuff. I'm excited to see the progress. I'm sure the questions will only get better and better, right? So like, take a pair of shoes for example, right? If we want to figure out if we can FBM this item, all that matters is obviously we can make profit. So if we can buy it for like 35 or whatever in this case, and then if we dive in on the buy box statistics, you can see we can filter by FBA right here. So over the last 30 days, about 6% of the sales has gone to FBM sellers. So maybe not like the most FBM friendly item in the world. If you check down here and you see there's like a ton of non-FBA options on the buy box, then you probably hop in and sell some of those, right? So that's the main difference if you're sourcing like FBA versus FBM. Beyond that, just make sure you're making profit. You're stacking as many like extra discounting as possible. You're plugging your sites into like cashback monitor. So like for example, if you found those like Adidas shoes or whatever, you can see like what are my highest cashback rates for the day. Just stacking all that extra bonus margin, making sure it's got buy box rotation. Then yeah, you're set. Sweet. Got to start with no brand products and then move into big name brand products. No, you can sell name brand products right now, just as long as they actually accept the applications right now. Some of the bigger brands aren't accepting applications right now. There's been like cycling in and out. So just check and make sure you can apply, but you can apply and get approved with no sales experience as long as you got like an invoice. Yep. Should you register an LLC, get EIN before you start? I didn't. I had like no money and I was a broke college kid though. So if you have like a house and a family, that type of thing, you probably want to protect that through an LLC. But obviously talk to a CPA or a lawyer on that type of thing. But yeah, I didn't start with it. I did it later on though. Sold 10K. Still feel like there's much to learn. Trying to manage selling through inventory versus buying more. Yeah. That's what's up, man. That's awesome. Congrats on that first 10K. That's funny because most time people get that like that first like 10K month, that type of thing. They're like, oh man, I made it. I'm a genius. And then they realize that as they keep scaling, like, oh, maybe I don't actually know anything yet. Like the 100K a month Amazon seller still knows that there's still much to learn, right? So that's awesome that you're still just trying to learn that type of stuff. To get to 10K, just do more of whatever got you there, right? So I'm almost positive that you've bought a bunch of items where you're like, man, I should have bought way more of that. Go back and see like on the on those keeper charts and stuff, like was there any sign that you knew that you could have gone deeper on it? Was there any like similar products? Was there a different size, a different color, a 3-pack of that vitamin you sold, all that kind of stuff, right? So just see how much like adjacent opportunity there is, and then kind of just branch out from there basically. What's FBM? Fulfilled by merchant. So you're shipping like direct to a customer who buys it instead of like shipping it to Amazon, and then Amazon ships it to your customer. So it's more work, but you can make the sale faster. Any advice due to OA? Avoid section 3s. Section 3s are random tenor, but as long as you keep good documentation, you appeal it there. I haven't seen anyone lose a section 3 who's buying real inventory from websites, local retailers, whatever. I've only seen people who are buying from like stolen goods and that type of stuff lose those cases. Yeah, Madison, I don't think so, but you can any brand you want to apply to sell, just type in the brand name, go to add a catalog on the back end, and then type in the brand name, and then it'll say like apply to sell. If you can apply, a lot of times you might get auto approved as well. Minimum amount of time you would want to have a listing to have existed. Yeah, that's a good question, Jason. It kind of depends on the listing. Like go after a while, I'm not sure based on the question, you might be selling for a little while, but you'll get a feel for like what products are kind of overpriced, what products you're expecting to probably go down in price in terms of like where you sourced it, how easy it was to find, all that kind of stuff. As a general rule, if you're on the newer side, I probably wouldn't sell any listings that are like younger than like 60 or 90 days old. Pretty much all of them tend to drop. It's just a matter of how much. There's some great new listings out there though. It's just kind of harder to predict because they don't have that history to fall back on and know like, oh, 135 is a pretty consistent price for this item or something like that, right? How do you know which brands you approved this? Yeah, punch the brand name into add a product on the catalog option. Yeah, I was just talking about that. How do you start FBA with no money? You cannot, Aaron. You have to spend money to make money on Amazon. If you have no money, then get a job, start a service-based business, something like that, right? Um, there are a lot of very successful Amazon sellers who kept the 9 to 5. In fact, in my most recent interview, super cool guy who's keeping his 9 to 5 on purpose, doing like 60K a month or so on the side, because you get that that stable cash flow from the 9 to 5. You funnel it into the business and you keep it growing from there, right? Not the typical advice on like the entrepreneur side of side of the internet, but pairing a real job with an Amazon business is an excellent way to build cash. Until eventually you're doing 100, 200 a month and you don't need the job anymore. It's pointless. How does it work to sell FBA and FBM on the same SKU? Yeah, you'll make two SKU. I don't know if you can sell the same SKU FBA and FBM. I need to double check on that. That is a good question. But I fairly certain you have to make a new SKU on the same ASIN to do both, which is a great idea though, Julie. Because theoretically you could list like a quarter of your inventory FBM, sell that out while the FBA is on the way to Amazon, so you're making sales and not missing opportunity basically. I love what you're thinking there though. When you went to apply for Crocs, told you need an invoice and a letter. So it told you needed an invoice or a letter. So you'll get an invoice from wherever you bought them profitably. Got a authenticity issue. Bought the item at Marshall's. Will the receipt be sufficient? Yeah. So it's a good idea on those items, especially with Ross and like Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls. Take a picture of the item's tag next to the receipt, like while you're putting it in the car or whatever, so that you can have that number nicely match up. You probably didn't do that preemptively. It's a good idea to do that moving forward. For now, just submit that in that receipt. I would put it on like a document on a PDF, just like type out like, bought it from here, corporate address of TJ Maxx, circle it on the receipt, show them what it is, all that kind of stuff. Just kind of spell it out for them, show them what's up. What do you suggest first step after creating an Amazon seller? Yeah, start sourcing products, start spending money. Spend $500 or $1,000 this week on products if you've got the account ready. The only way you're going to make money and learn lessons is by buying some product and testing it out, right? Recommendations for cards that give the most rewards cash back. Yeah, good question, Scarlett. So as far as credit cards go, if you don't have any business credit yet, get the Amex Business Blue. They'll approve, like literally if you got your LLC the same day, they'll approve you and you can start building your business credit with that. Because the good cash back cards like the Capital One Spark, that's what I spend most of my money on. It gives you 2% back, but you have to have decent credit and the limits aren't as high unless you have a good history of spending on that business account. Amex Plum is good for like extended payback period. Amex Golds will give you a crazy high balance typically. Just kind of whatever problems you're trying to solve in your business. If you want to switch from individual to professional, should you email Amazon and tell them? Yeah, absolutely, Jasmine. Anytime you guys change like bank account, credit card, seller account information, all that type of stuff, make sure you make a case with Amazon beforehand. Just like one of those things where they might like temporarily deactivate your account if they think like, oh, somebody hacked in, they hacked Jasmine's bank account. They're trying to change the bank account info, right? So just tell them beforehand that it's actually you that's doing it, and you'll be good. Good way to know if you're sourcing the right way, not mindlessly sourcing. That's a great question. The not mindless way to source, spend 10 to 15 minutes before you actually dig in and start sourcing on just like identifying opportunity, right? So find the best sales of the day, check Sales Gauger, check Capital One Shopping, check the cash back monitor. So check like the best cash back of the rates of the day. Just kind of see what opportunities out there for you. And then dive into trying to pull up a good video for you here. Dive into the storefronts of people who are selling those brands that you kind of identified a little bit of opportunity in, basically, right? So I'm going to, let me share this with you here. I'll drop this in chat. I made a good video over on the SellerAmp YouTube channel in case a lot of you guys don't watch that one. Yeah, over on the SellerAmp channel, just kind of breaking down like why product research might be difficult for you right now. So if that's you're feeling like, maybe you're not spending your time as well as you could be, I dove into like good product examples, where to kind of find those opportunities, what opportunity is worth looking into, what isn't. You can check that out. What if they take a long time to? I mean, they shouldn't take more than a couple days. You're good. Sourcing questions: spend most on one product, or spend $100,000 to $1,500 on different products? Kind of test them. Yeah, so test out those products. Test them out. Do FBM as much as possible early on, because you're going to get that product in hand. You can sell it the same day you get it in. All that kind of stuff. It just moves your money faster. Versus that one product where maybe you get a really good product, you make more money if you go deep. You found a really good example, or if you spend all of your first startup capital on a product that's not so good, and you lose 20% ROI or something on that, and your whole business is slowed down from that. Application keeps getting denied. Yeah, Rodolfo. Add like pictures of the item, add tracking information, add the credit card statement where it proves that you actually bought the inventory from Puma. Like, yeah, just keep submitting. Keep adding new information, keep submitting. Let's see. Amazon seller sell. I'm not sure what you're up to there, Jason. You paste in like a help article or something. Yeah. Got denied. It was Walmart, so there's no invoice. Yeah, just keep trying it, Pierre. I haven't had too much success with Walmart. Just the way they format their invoices. They don't put your address and the items listed on the same document. You can go through the login on your account, go to the orders tab, and then click there's like a view order or a print, like view invoice button, something like that. Sold first $100, your account balance is still negative. Does it take time to update? You probably either paid your $40 a month Amazon fee, you paid to ship products into Amazon. Omar, check. There's a transaction view on the where it's telling you your balance and stuff. You can see what you got paid for and what Amazon has charged you for. But I would guess that it's like either your products weren't profitable, but you said you're using SellerAmp there, so that's probably not it. But it's probably just like a fee or shipping or one of those that you got charged to your balance already. Best way to find good websites with leads. I mean, just like start diving into a bunch of major websites, right? Go sign up your email to a bunch of different small retailers out there, or big retailers, right? Just sign up to all the email lists, that type of thing. And then in the morning, just check your email and you'll see like, oh, there's a 30% sale here. There's a BOGO sale here. There's a back to school sale here. There's a Prime Day competitive sale here. All that kind of stuff, right? Run into a problem where you're running completely out of money. That is a good problem then, Manny. You've been what was it, a few weeks ago, a month or two ago, you're asking like, how do I start? How do I find products? And now you're spending it all on leads. That's fantastic progress. So you've reached phase 2 of the Amazon business, where you're now limited by capital and not finding products. Products are too easy, or easier for you to find than your bankroll would indicate, right? So you can do a few things. So make sure your money's moving as fast as possible. So list as much as you can, like FBM. You get the sales rolling in faster. Make sure your prices are competitive, and you're not just like praying that the prices are going to go up on stuff randomly. Stuff that you are waiting for prices to go up, just make sure there's like, oh, my sale is gone, or the seasonality is favorable. It's a back to school type item. It's a summer item, that type of thing, right? And then, yeah, beyond that, it's just getting pickier with your items, right? So now that cash flow is a limiter and not finding products, now raise your minimum ROI, right? So now I don't buy anything that's under 50% ROI until money's not an issue. You can also look at cards like the MX Plum or one of those to extend payback period, but I'm not sure if you've been in the game quite long enough where I'd want you to put any kind of leverage on credit cards, but that's totally up to you. Get ungated before having that big order from the retailer or distributor. Yeah, it's a good idea to be ungated before you're going to place like a massive order, just in case they take a few submissions with you and that kind of stuff. But if you find a good deal and the deal's there, then hop on it. You can always just keep submitting while there's a good product set in your garage, that type of thing. But a lot of times that opportunity will roll back around. That's kind of the benefit of doing like name brand products, all that kind of stuff, is whenever you find a product once, you might not be able to restock it for 2 or 3 months, but that same sale or that same coupon, that same cashback deal combined with the BOGO, all that kind of stuff, it's going to come back. And so the more of those you just start stacking on top of each other, the more kind of sustainable your business becomes. It's good. That's why it's a good idea to add all your leads to like a SellerAmp Google Sheet, all that kind of stuff, right? How's it long take for LTL truckloads with Amazon to be able to sell on site? I'm not sure what you mean by sell on site, but LTL takes a little bit longer than small parcel as a general rule. You can use like 2D barcodes through Boxen to make the check-ins a little bit faster typically, but yeah, it'd probably take a week or two to start making those first couple sales. Probably anywhere from 2 to 5 to get everything fully checked in, depending on what warehouse, what time of the year, all that kind of thing. What categories do you prefer in the beginning to test out? Yeah, good question. I mean, anything that you have personal interest in is good to start, because that's gonna you have a little bit of back of mind knowledge. Like, oh, I know the good brands about this. I've probably looked for some good deals in this type of product before. Just be able to stack a little bit of that experience on itself. Beyond that, like clothing and shoes is a good, because there's the most amount of websites selling the same brands, so they have to compete with coupons and pricing the most. Just make sure you're keeping in mind return costs and all that kind of stuff there. Grocery is good because there's no returns. It's a little bit harder to source OA. And then a nice sweet spot is like vitamins and beauty products. Those are kind of somewhere in the middle, right? Where it gets a little bit of returns. They're pretty arbitrageable, not quite as easy as clothing and stuff, but there's still plenty of opportunity. Lots of like one brand websites, that kind of thing. Recommendations for getting commercial insurance. I go through Next Insurance. A lot of people also say like the Hartford. There's a couple companies out there. Should be I always forget if it's 10,000 over 3 months or 10,000 3 months in a row. It's one of those. Kind of early-ish into the business where you're making some money. And it'll probably be about 500 to 1,000 a year, depending on who you're asking and what you're kind of covering on that. Sweet. You have any tips? Start learning all about arbitrage. Yeah, Kyle, that's kind of the whole channel. I just kind of dive into that. Got a free course you can check out as well. So for any of you guys who were just kind of asking on the more like beginner side of things, I'll leave a link down below for it's like a free Amazon course you can check out. It's like PDFs, videos, all that kind of stuff. That's also where our free Discord is as well. So if you want to start talking to some other Amazon sellers and stuff. And you're also asking, is investing in paid tools like Keepa and SellerAmp worth it? Yeah, you kind of have to, Kyle. Obviously, I own part of SellerAmp, so full disclosure there. But you do need it to source products, right? Like, came onto the team after realizing how much easier it makes life. It's $40 a month for those combined. I don't even know how you would source without them, to be honest. Digging through websites, like manually looking, but you're just not going to know. Yeah, you kind of have to. Basically, the only required overhead for Amazon is Keepa and SellerAmp, the Amazon seller account, and then product costs. A little bit of shipping, a little miscellaneous box cost, that type of stuff. So obviously there is required overhead like any business, but it's relatively low, which is nice. It's good first business, that kind of thing. Regards to credit cards, what you did is put everything on credit card stuff to move, just in case. Yeah. So I wouldn't spend too much more money than Manny. Just make sure all your items are selling well. Check pricing. See if you can FBM any of that kind of stuff. Speed up your money at this point, I would say. Figure out anything you just speed up the money. Yeah. With no sales ratings or feedbacks, impossible to do FBM. Don't know. Yeah, you can. What do you mean? 0-day handling time. Buy items where the buy box rotates to FBM. If you really have made 0 sales, then list on items that are buy box suppressed. Yeah, I mean that's crazy, man. That is wild. Yeah, you can. I'm gonna assume you're on the newer side. So yeah, a little bit of maybe a misconception, but yeah, you can run it up on that. Sweet. Let me see if I missed any questions here. But yeah, y'all are firing away. Great vibes on that nice little Sunday afternoon here. Miles doing the roadmap call tonight too. So you guys are if you guys are in the roadmap, make sure you hop in there and get some sauce. Go ask some questions, that kind of stuff. How do you move large quantities doing RA like wholesale? I don't do too much RA. I do mostly OA, John, where it's like buying from websites instead of like physical retailers. But like any business model not being scalable is kind of just a limiting belief. I've seen literally like booksellers doing like 10 million, right? 5-10 million, that kind of thing. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but you can scale anything you want. With OA, it's just figuring out those websites where you like to source, finding adjacent opportunity, going back to the same opportunities that you've already sourced before. Every time a sale rolls back around, at least a certain percentage of what you've already done there is going to be able to restock again. So it just compounds on itself. We've been doing arbitrage for, I guess, almost 4 years now. Been on Amazon for almost 6. So that's a lot of experience where we can just go back and look at the exact same work we did 2 years ago and keep making money off of it, basically. So it's just all about kind of the business compounds itself. Experience does. Every item you find compounds itself. Gets easier to buy in bulk, all that kind of stuff. Check the link. What's the difference between Launchpad and FBA Roadmap? Yeah. So the Launchpad's like 3 hours. It's the free Discord, that kind of stuff. The Roadmap is our paid training. So there's like 22 something like that hours of content in there. A lot of like plug and play templates so you can source with like some Keep a Product Finder, some sourcing methods that we don't talk about on YouTube, that kind of stuff. Plus we got weekly calls. So like tonight, Miles going to be hopping on, showing you guys some sourcing stuff, answering questions, all that kind of stuff. So it's just a lot more hands-on with the Roadmap. The Launchpad can get you to 10K a month. The Roadmap can get you to 1,500. We've seen lots of 7-figure sellers coming out of that. Can you share packaging tutorials? Yeah. So if you look up Boxum shipment, that's the new way to make shipments to send to Amazon. If you look that up on YouTube, you'll see the kind of a step-by-step on making shipments, that kind of thing. If you could go back and do something different in business, what would that be? I mean, to be honest, most of the regrets I have are not buying deep enough on certain products early in the game, where I just didn't have enough confidence, or not documenting the journey early enough, right? So I didn't really make any content for the first almost 2 years. And as soon as I did, I started meeting other Amazon sellers who showed me how to get ungated in the big brands. And we were looking at sales together. We were sharing ideas, all that kind of stuff. So like the biggest thing that you need to do is just exist in public. An insane amount of opportunity is hogged by people who post once a day, once a week on Twitter. They're just sharing what they're up to, Instagram, whatever you're comfortable with. If I had done that sooner, I would have grown a lot faster. That goes for all of you guys. As you post, like tag me, that kind of thing. I'd love to boost you guys out there as you're trying to make some Amazon seller friends and stuff. So sweet. I'll probably go ahead and wrap up here for the day. Gonna go hit a nice little walk, maybe get some sun. So y'all have a great rest of your Sunday. Good hanging out with you guys. Let's make it a great week. Let's make some money this week. Lots of sales still going on today though. So fire up the SellerAmp, get sourcing, and let's spend some money